Good morning. Today we're going to continue the book called Career of Happiness by Rav Avigdor Miller. A very interesting book, very good book that each one of the married couple should get and review together. And if you're not married, advisable to get it and learn it before you get married. So actually we're going to start with the beginning, chapter 1, where it says, a nation of self-control. So this chapter is called Transforming Yourself. And he says, the purpose of life. The Chavot HaLevavot lists three purposes for which Hashem bestowed upon man the gift of life. One of the three is that man should become similar to an angel, to a malach, who's able to suffer and tolerate. Yeah? He says this indeed requires elucidation. It needs explanation. The other two reasons are that man be tested for his choice of virtue or otherwise, meaning tested to be good or bad, and to remove the curtain of ignorance that blinds all men in this world, in order to recognize the truth as much as possible. Meaning, he says a person is brought to this world, and there's a lot of fakeness that's around him. As the Chachamim say, the sages say that this whole world is sheker, it's fake. Meaning everything that we see is really fake. Yeah? And it says we brought here into this world in order for us to remove this fakeness and see the truth as much as possible. These three reasons, although they also deserve elaboration, are more understandable, meaning the last two. What is meant by the reason that man was granted existence in his life in order to learn to tolerate and suffer like an angel. This needs a little bit more explanation. We may understand this as follows. All the seraphim, meaning all the heavenly body angels, right, compare a human being to a dual kind of creature, like a gifted intellectual genius riding on a donkey. Man is created in the likeness of a creator, a divine intellect of vast potentiality. But just as a genius mounted on a donkey cannot make progress without the help of his brute steed, right, meaning without the donkey that he's sitting on, so also a human being, despite the nobility of his soul and the immensity of his intellectual potential, is unable to accomplish anything without the aid of his body and his physical attributes. He's saying like this. He's saying, imagine a person is like a genius sitting on a donkey. Yeah, the genius has a brilliant mind, but without the donkey's actual work, where he's actually walking to go to a certain destination, he's unable to do that. Yes. Similarly, he says we have a soul, we have a divine soul, and we have a body. Our soul cannot function without the actual body. Therefore, he says we need the physical body in order for us to be able to do the various motions, is get married, to eat, procreate, work, so on and so forth, right? So we need this physical, quote-unquote, body, donkey, yeah, and this intellectual mind, kilu, the soul. But let us digress for a moment. The metaphor of an intelligent man mounted on a donkey does not only supply a model of man's needs for the aid of his body. The steed, meaning the donkey itself, can gain from a wise master. And the donkey learns and becomes a wiser beast because of its association with its rider. Meaning, he says that a donkey is a dumb animal. However, if you have the wise master who's sitting on a donkey, the donkey could actually become a smart donkey, right? Meaning the rider can teach the donkey what to do, what not to do, where to stop, where not to stop, be careful. In the same way, the body becomes transformed into an entirely different kind of being through its association with the proper intellect. An intelligent person who lives a life of virtue based on understanding and self-control according to the eternal laws of heaven, of Hashem, transforms his body into an entirely new entity. So similarly, he says, a person's body without an actual mind could be like an animal, yeah? I mean, we have many people who are just eating, they do procreation, and they do wild things. As we see in our generation, there's many crazy people around that just run wild, like wild dogs, yeah? Similarly, he says, just like an intelligent person sitting on a donkey can make the donkey smart, same way if a person uses his intellect and he uses his body and teaches his body to have self-control with various urges, yeah, he can make his body into this holy entity. But how is that? Again, that's with the laws that God gave us through the Torah. Eventually, not only does the souls become worthy of eternity, but the body also gains the right of eternal existence. This is the basis on which the revival of the dead stands. When men live virtuously, they do not merely use their bodies for the perfection of their soul, but they also transform their bodies and cause them to be deserving of the revival of the dead at Hashem's command. As we know, almost all the religions believe in what's called the revival of the dead. Yeah, they believe that after a certain period of time, God is going to basically revive the dead people. Yeah, whether that's a physical revelation or somewhat, But for now, the understanding is that the dead body is going to be revived. He says this perfection of the soul with the body will give the body the ability to be able to be revived at the time of the revival of the dead. Now, to turn our subject, while they are together, the driver must maintain control over the beast. Lifelong effort is required to check the animal instincts of the body. Meaning, he's saying just like the rider on a donkey has to constantly be aware where the donkey is going and to lead him in the right direction, same thing, a soul with the body is a lifelong task that the body's instinctual characteristics have to be checked through the soul's guidance. Even the oldest tzaddik must continue to maintain a strict curb on his beast, quote unquote, lest he be led astray by his animal instincts. This battle for control over one's emotions and instincts indicates the measure of man's excellence, which gains for him the right to become an eternal being. Thereby he comes to resemble the malachim, the angels, who have full control over themselves. The angels who tolerate and suffer, quote unquote. Therefore, when we say that this is the purpose of man's existence, it means to learn to practice self-control as much as possible. This is one of the three purposes of life for which Hashem put us into this world. This is not solely a matter of fulfilling the laws of Torah, although this is indeed a vital requirement. Our subject is much more inclusive. Even when no explicit commandments are involved, the mere excellence of oneself is a supreme achievement that merits for its owner the right to be considered an eternal being. Meaning, he's saying that we're brought here in order to practice self-control of our desires. So it's not a matter of Torah. Yes, through the Torah learning, through the mitzvot, the commandments that Hashem gives us, we're able to control our body and our instinctual wants. Yeah, the Torah commands us that we should get up and say a certain phrase when we get up, to wash our hands, to wear our shoes a certain way, to lead our morning in a certain order, to go through the day by doing certain mitzvot. Every time we eat, we say a blessing. Every time we make an action, we watch what we do and we say a blessing. So through these 613 mitzvot that give us the ability to control our every action, we're able to then control our instincts and our desires. He says this is one of the major reasons that we're put over here, in order to control our bodily desires. He says, in Kohelet, we read, "For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope." What is meant by there is hope? If a man is alive, there is hope for him. But when he's dead, there is indeed nothing to hope. Certainly, even the dead have a full reason to hope, not only for the happiness of the soul in the afterlife, but even for the joy of the body at the time of the revival of the dead. However, Kohelet speaks of hope for the self-improvement, for making progress to achieve greater and greater excellence. In the afterlife, there is no progress. Whatever you possess, you take with you, but forever and ever you remain with what you achieved. Today to do them, but tomorrow, but not tomorrow to do them in the world to come. As we mentioned before, just the way a person is at the point of his death, that's exactly how it's going to be forever. And we explained the concept of forever. So in this world, we're able to control ourselves. In this world, we're able to build ourselves. In this world, we're able to achieve a certain perfection in our character traits, in our desires, in our service of God. When we improve ourselves to a certain degree, hopefully to the highest degree that we can, that's exactly how we're going to stay in the world to come. Because in the world to come, it's not a world of doing. It's a world of constant stableness, meaning the way you went into the world to come, that's exactly how you're going to be maintained for the rest of eternity, whatever that time period is. Yeah? So therefore he says, in this world we're brought here in order for us to live, in order for us to do, to improve our characters. Once we've left this world, there's no way we could achieve this continuity of fixing ourselves. But Kohelet intends to say more than that. He says the opportunity that Hashem gives us are not merely because we are alive. Kohelet says much more. When he is joined to all the living, there is hope. There is hope. When you are still attached to the mass of humanity, that is your hope and your great opportunity to overcome your emotions and instincts by reacting properly to the rest of mankind. This is being joined to all the living. In order to live socially and in order to succeed as a person among others, it is essential that we always maintain self-control. A man must control his mouth, he must control his acts, and even his facial expressions and his thoughts. He must be in constant surveillance of himself, for otherwise he cannot survive in society. You hear what he says? He says, why does Kohelet say that you are attached to life? Yeah? Says Kohelet says, when you're joined to all the living, there is hope. When you are joined to all the living, there is hope. Meaning, you have to live a normal life with other people, with a job, with a family, with people that you interact with. And within this lifestyle, you have to maintain self-control. You have to watch what you're saying. You have to watch how you act. You even have to watch your facial expressions. Many women, as we know, get very upset at other women. Why? Because of the facial expressions. Oh, did you see how she looked at me? Oh, did you see what she said to me? Oh, did you see what the... We have to understand that not many people are able to control themselves. So therefore, sometimes they're upset about what happened to them, an hour ago, a day ago, even a week ago, and they have a certain facial expression on their face. And then this other people who meets this person gets this expression, and this person who met him thinks, why is she looking at me? Why is he looking at me? Yeah? Meaning, we have to be able to even control our facial expressions, which means if we are bothered by what happened to us an hour ago, or a day ago, or a week ago, we cannot reflect this face to other people. We have to be able to always maintain a smile, understand that we have a certain issue, but maintain a certain smile, yeah, in front of others, so that they don't take this facial expression in a non-understandable way. We shall yet see what happens in societies where self-control is not practiced. But now we speak of an ideal society, the Torah community, where everyone lives under self-control according to the ideal plan for which Hashem made man a social being. It is not good for a man to be alone, right? Bereshit says that it's not good for a man to be alone. The goal of true achievement for eternal happiness cannot be accomplished by being alone. Hillel said, what is disliked by you, do not do to your fellow man. That is the Torah. Yeah, these are the mitzvot. These are most of the mitzvot. But Kohelet adds being joined to all the living. Not only to be joined to the living, but to be able to succeed with all sorts of people, difficult people, arrogant people.